10 years. 10 long, annoying, disease-ridden fucking years. It's been so long that Vine literally began and ended, that Travis Scott dropped all 3 of his albums, had a kid, and got 10 people killed, and that they took away the only steak and shake near me, so now I gotta drive 2 goddamn hours just to get some shoestring fries. Like, what the fuck, bro? But yes, the highly notable EDM supergroup Swedish House Mafia has come back after 10 years to drop their latest project Paradise again, being filled with features and high energy to get any scene moving and keep me satisfied for another 10 years. Alright, so with this project we get a mix of the standard EDM sound with tracks such as Heaven Takes You Home and Calling On, but at the same time when comparing the EDM scene from when they dropped their first project to now, you can definitely see a sort of change in style to fit the more of the electronic scene today, with tracks such as Mafia being this deep bass, more sinister sounding track that's definitely something I'd mess with, or how Frankenstein is a complete flip from the rest of the album, taking the electronic sound and making it into this heavy bass trap sound that perfectly fits the A$AP Rocky feature, sounding like something you could even hear on Rocky's previous project Testing. Another track I would like to acknowledge would be Don't Go Mad, having this more tropical drum mix alongside some low synths to make for a pretty fun track, and one of my more favorites on this album, sounded like something you'd hear in a boiler room or something with how much energy this track carries. But then there's also tracks like Jacob's Note and Paradise Again that seem to take the slower approach, with the former being this 50-second piano interlude to the track Moss and the Flame. That was cool, though I didn't really care for it myself to be honest. But the latter did have this ambient sound to this dramatic rise that I feel was a solid lead into the next track Lifetime, though I feel like it had more potential to be more of its own track while still being able to lead into the next, by maybe giving it a better drop and not trying to stretch its electro ambient sound for 3 minutes. But the features on this album I feel didn't miss at all as well, with each one being perfectly complemented by the rest of the beat on their respective tracks, with A$AP Rocky probably being my favorite feature of them all on their track Frankenstein, with him doing his usual layered rapping style with impressive wordplay that once again shows his level of versatility when given a beat. But I also have to acknowledge The Weeknd on Moth to a Flame, because I'm gonna be honest, I was intentionally dodging this track when it came out and I don't know why, but when listening to it now it's definitely a banger as well, carrying that dramatic poppy energy that gives The Weeknd another chance to create a catchy dance-filled track that makes for easy appeal amongst the masses. There was also Sanae Bose on the track Don't Go Mad, which was one of my favorite tracks as well, though she didn't do much singing, but she did have a nice vocal sample that was utilized pretty well with the beat, though I do wish she did actually have a verse. But the one feature I would like to acknowledge the most is the rock singer Sting on the track Red Light, which just happens to be my favorite track on this entire project, with it carrying this more deep house energy to it that you'd hear from someone else like Ellie Brown nowadays, who I also listen to regularly, so you can already assume that I'm going to enjoy a track like this. But the feature from Sting was very enjoyable to listen to, though to some it might seem a bit generic in tone, but for me the singing, the screaming in the background, and the energy it brings towards the build up and the bass drop just feels so powerful for this track and definitely gives me a reason to play this song throughout the summer. But overall, while this project definitely had some of the standard EDM sound that you'd hear, it's good to see that they've been able to adapt to the present day electronic sound, giving us some ambience, some deep house, and some tropical and boiler room vibes that I can definitely roll with. So to put this on the scale and giving us a solid 8 out of 10, being one of my favorite projects of the year, and it's definitely going to be played throughout the summer. But how do you guys feel about Swedish House Mafia's comeback? What would you rate this project? Let me know down in the comments by liking and subscribing. Make sure to follow my IG and Twitter, and if you like the illustrations used in this video, make sure to follow the artist as well because she's dope. And on that note, I'll see you on Monday when I attempt to form an electronic supergroup, drop one album, and then disappear for 10 years. Peace.
Oh my god, a guy wearing a skirt, such femboy, much kawaii, nuzzles your bulgy woolgy, wow! Who the fuck are you? How did you get news? Are you gonna phone the police on you, you pure mute?